Well, no mai, haere mai, and kia ora. Welcome back to another edition of Where Are They Now? Video number 22. Can you believe it, fellas? We're up to 22 already. It's going really well, and keep the comments and all the cheeky chat going on the Facebook Messenger page there. I see that's going really strong, so good on you guys. Now, our next old boy and classmate, we all knew extremely well. Now, quick memories from me. Was a great artist. I remember he was very good at art. A good footballer, played first 11 football at school, and I have the fondest memories of this guy working across the road with Will at the mobile petrol station. I always remember that. But look, enough from me. It's time to say g'day and hi to your classmate of mine, Adon Byron. G'day, Adon. How are you, bro?
Hey, g'day, Huge. Kia ora. Good to see you, mate, and well done on all of this stuff. It's going real well.
Thank you, my man. I haven't seen you in ages, but I've kept in touch with Jamie and Will about you, and I know just how well you've done. And thanks for joining us, man. I know the guys are looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, cheers, mate. You can call me Mouth if you want. All the boys still do. Bloody Stacker gave me that nickname in 5th form, and I've never been able to shake it off. But yeah, the boys still call me Mouth.
That's sensational. I do remember that nickname, and I can't believe they still got it on you. Still called Mouth.
Oh yeah, I can still remember the day Stack gave it to me, and the reason why. We had been at a party, I think in 5th form, and we were down Petone Waterfront. It was me and Woodsy, Stack, Will, Pat, Anton, and I think we ended up having a big night. And that wasn't the story, but it was in the van. And Brother Bede was driving, and we were talking about it in the back of the van, and he heard it. And Stack wasn't in the van, but he pulled Stack aside, and then he tested Stack on the truth to what he was doing on Saturday night. And I think he lied, and then he got in a world of pain. And so he came up to me and said, "You're just a mouth, mouth, mouth." And then he got the whole school just chanting mouth, mouth, mouth. That's where it came from.
Oh, awesome. All right, Mouth. Good to see you again, bro. Now, look, I know you were a local lad. I think you actually just lived up the road in Heatonga, not far from school. Look, take us back. Recap your years at Stream. So how many years were you there, and where did you come from?
Yeah, you got a lot of it right, Huge. I was at Stream for 5 years, full 5, 89 to 93. In fact, I wanted to go back. I wanted to go back and do second year 7th, and I wasn't sure if Sean Lindsay was an inspiration there or not, but I wanted to go back and do second year 7th because I loved my time so much, but there was no way Mum was gonna let me. But yeah, I lived just down in Heatonga. I was one street over from Jacko, so Michael Jackson and his older brother Paul Jackson. I went to St Brendan's and with a really good crew through there, real scholars, to be honest, and I wasn't one of them, but guys like Chris White, Andrew Blumen, Dan Boyle, Mitchell Gray, Alistair Jameson. I think even the guy Oliver Sundstrom, I think, might have came through there. But I was a day boy. I was a bit different then too, mate, back then, because I was a skater, and I also played football. So I got a ton of shit for that, a lot of stick for both of those things. But I also wasn't very big, Huge. I was real small because I was young, and I was young for the form, and I was little. I've made up for it now. But I was small, and I wasn't really a fighter, so it was in my nature to try and make friends. And I remember we walked to school, a few of us, and we met the St. Joe boys at the gate, and I thought, yeah, this is good, safety in numbers. I'd played soccer at 5 with like Mike and Noel and Marty Watterson. And then I got to know Will and Jamie, James Bell and Pat Ford, and sort of we all became mates. And I remember I had heaps of different groups because I also did art, and you referred to art, and I got to know the Lower Hutt crew like Tamatia Ellison, Simon Wadsworth, the Borders like Muffy, Yuki Kihara. We were all in that art class for a long time. It was good fun. And also the Upper Hutt boys extended, guys like, I was thinking about them the other day, Ty McNeil and Campbell Clark, Cameron Hurdle, real diverse group, if you like. But yeah, and funny that Will and I did, we pumped petrol together over at the Mobile. That was a good story. Everyone knew that. And we also then went on and worked at Texarkana together, flipping burgers for a long time.
Oh, wow. With Nick.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, he was a good guy. But funny, like going back to classmates, and I think I had a lot of friends, or a lot of memories of different guys. And I became good friends with Woodsy, and I look back and Woodsy and Waynow, Dan Gray, all those boys started coming over to the mobile. And they worked out that because we were staff, we had staff accounts. So they just started stealing food and saying, "Oh, just put it on Aiden's account and Will's accounts." And they just did it all the time. It was pretty funny. Anyway, where was I going with that? But Woodsy, yeah. So Woodsy and funnily enough, Woodsy and I became good friends early, and Connor Downey as well. And it was through our love of music. So, we listened to like the Clash and Sex Pistols and Dead Kennedys, and it kind of influenced how we thought about the world, what we did, how we looked. And I got to remember, they were good times. But if you go back, actually, huge, and just to make this point, like 89 to 93 was when some of the best music in the world was coming out. Pearl Jam, Oasis, Soundgarden, Rage Against the Machine, Tool, Nirvana, Oasis, all these bands were coming out, and it was cool. And Woodsy took me up into the dorms in third form, and it just wasn't done right. Day boys didn't go up the dorms. And I remember when he took me up there, and I got a hiding by a heap of boys. And but it was good because I didn't complain, and I sort of got up, and then the boys, we all sort of became friends. I met Hugo and Neezy, Tuck, and Shorty, and all those boys. In fact, I still got this. I brought this jersey off Neezy. Yeah, I brought this jersey off Neezy for $40. It was a lot of money at the time, but he looked like he needed something to eat, and I've held on to that because I gave it to my son when he went to stream.
Wow! Hey, that's what an awesome memory you've got too.
And I tell you, Hugo, good seeing Hugo. He on the first weekend they were allowed out in third form, him and Woodsy came and stayed at my mum and dad's house. Because mum was liberal and she loved bring the boys come around, and I thought, oh yeah, they want to be friends, they come stay out on the weekend, but all they wanted to do was get a good feed and go through the old man's booze cupboard to see if they had any booze.
Oh wow! Hey, you've watched some of the videos now. What do you think, and is it cool just seeing guys again and just catching up with their stories?
Oh yeah, it really is. I mean, I've seen a few boys over the years. I'm into my horse racing. I've owned quite a few horses over the years. I've had horses for 20 years, and I've seen a lot of the boys at the races over that time. But it's just good hearing everyone's stories, and seeing a few names from the past, guys I just didn't know what they'd gone on to do. It's good. It's real good.
Oh,
good.
We'll take us back to 94. So your first year at a stream, what did you end up doing?
Yeah, I was still living at home, so I went to CIT with a few of the other boys. But I was young. I mean, I hadn't even turned 16. I think I was only I hadn't turned 17. I think I was only 16. And I had a student loan. I brought a Holden Kingswood bloody ute, and living the dream. But basically, I spent most of my time Jamie and Mad Dog's flat, boozing, and in the tote with Will and Pat. But also I spent a few good best years of my life surfing with James Bell. So we went surfed all around Castle Point over the years. But look, I failed first year, then went to Victoria University and actually sorted myself out and finished my degree. It took 4 years, but I finished it in 3. The first year was just mucking around. But I went on to play rugby out of school, mate, which was interesting too, because I'd never played rugby right through. But I went on and played Hutt Old Boys Maris, played Upper Hutt Rugby Club. And I know a few of the boys, I know Will and Corker, they were devastated that I went on to higher honours and them playing rugby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, won a few grades for the 80s. It wasn't that good, but I've still got my name on the wall at Upper Hutt Rugby Club, mate. Highest point scorer in the club, 96.
Is that right?
That's right.
Wow, that's sensational. Bloody hell. Hey, you mentioned Mad Dog. That was on James Meehan, wasn't it?
It was James Meehan, yeah. Him and Jamie had a notorious flat up in Trentham. Good times.
Yeah, I remember Jay touching base on it the other day, and I just remember it was a red brick flat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I started working for a government department, and but the things took a turn. I found out at 21 I was going to be a dad, mate, and so I had my son Finn at 22, and I was out of uni and I was working in a government department, and next minute I had a son, and I was like, whoa, I've got to sort myself out, get settled, focused on a career. And I'd kept in touch with Kieran McCall a lot. We've been good friends, played rugby together. He's working at a company called Computerland in Wellington. They're in IT, and he said, come down to get a job, come join the account managers team. And I said, well, I don't know what an account manager does. He said, neither do I, mate, but they go to the pub at lunchtime and we just had beers with these customers. And I went, right, I'm in. So I went and worked with Kieran for a few years at Computerland.
What an awesome introduction, and look at you now in the IT world. Now, look, great segue. I've heard bits and pieces of sort of what you do for work and occupation, but tell the rest of us. So, what do you do for work now, and what have you been doing all these years?
Oh, mate, I've been in IT for 26 years, but IT sales. So maybe I've got the gift of the gab. Maybe I just continue to get on with people, but I've worked in and around large IT companies. So after Computerland, I worked for Vodafone. I had 2 children by then, and it was 2005, and things changed direction a little bit. I hadn't travelled, and so my kids stayed in Wellington. I went on a month's backpacking around Europe, and I just loved it. Like I got the bug for travel, and I decided to come back to Wellington where I was still living, but I moved to Auckland. It was about 15 years ago, and I was working for a company called Oracle, which is a large tech company, US company, and I'd met a lot of tech folk, and I met some really cool technology people in Auckland, and I got asked to go for a job at a company called Google, and Google wasn't very big at the time.
I think I've heard of that. I think we've heard of that company.
Yeah, and it was 2007, and look, I started work for Google in 2007 in Auckland. I started the office and the team in New Zealand. We built and rolled out a lot of services that from Google that you'd use today. The Gmails and Google Maps and YouTube and all of these things into New Zealand. And I spent 7 years there, but I travelled the world. I travelled Europe, heaps of time up in the States. Spent a heap of time in the US in Silicon Valley. Las Vegas is obviously my favorite. I've been up to Vegas probably 15 times in the last 10 years because I like a punt too, obviously. But yeah, and then for the last 7, I've been working for Amazon, Amazon.com, largest technology company in the world. They hire over 1 million people. And I work for their cloud computing side of the business in Auckland. And again, last 7 years traveling around the world, up a lot of time in the US and Australia and around Asia, and but pretty grounded in Auckland now. Mate,
that's awesome. So that piece of advice and maybe a wee visit to the pub back at Computerland really paid off.
Yeah. Look, I've met some great people. I've had some really good experiences. I've met founders who have started some of the best technology companies in the world. I've travelled a lot, which I've been lucky. But I've got a great family. I've been in Auckland 15 years and we're still really happy here, and I get down to Wellington quite a bit, but happy up here.
Good.
Had my first 2 kids early, and then took a decade off and then carried on.
Well, mate, you were always good with the ladies. So give us a wee intro into introduce your wife and your children again to us.
Yeah, my son, he's 22, Finn. He actually went to Stream, and he boarded for 5 years at Stream, which made me really proud. I spent a lot of time going back to Stream while he was there and going through the boarding school. And I know some people had ups and downs in the school, but he had a brilliant time at Stream. His group of mates in the boarding school were awesome. They've gone on and been really good friends outside that. So he's at Vic Uni. He's just finishing a degree in teaching. Funnily enough, Fui taught him at school. So I don't know if that was a good influence or not, but he's going to be a teacher. My middle daughter, Miller, she's 19. She's awesome as well. She's done really well. She's down at Otago Uni at the moment. But they stayed in Wellington while I was in Auckland, and they basically became really independent, traveling up and down the country on their own. And she followed her brother and actually wanted to go boarding, so she boarded for 5 years at St. Matt's over in the Wairarapa. And I remember going as third form. I thought, she's not going to make it, and she made 5 years. She loved every minute of it, and she's just a really independent, strong woman now, which has good to see. Yeah, and then like I said, I had 10 years off, but then I had my youngest daughter Evie. She's 8. She's just so much fun. She's a brilliant girl, really talented, and we just love her to bits. And my better half up here in Auckland, yeah, I mean, she's just way too good for me, but yeah, Carrie's her name.
Fantastic, mate. Well done. Sounds like a brilliant family. You might be the first out of us, or certainly on this video vlog, of father and son old boys that we both went to stream.
I was wondering that, mate. I've been waiting to see if any other boys' kids went to stream, but no, I haven't heard it so far. But yeah, no, Finn had a fantastic time.
Good, good. Now, you mentioned you're in Auckland. Whereabouts? Where exactly do you live?
I'm just over in Northcote Point, just over, first suburb on the left, on the water there, over the Harbour Bridge. You might see me holding up the bar at Northcote Tavern. So if any of you boys are in Auckland, come over the shore, come to the Northcote Tavern. I'm probably there having a beer and a punt.
Beautiful. So do we find you there on a Saturday afternoon? Is that the usual time and spot?
That's my favourite, my friend.
I think Angie Logue's pretty close to you. He might have to pop over and have a quiet one with you.
You should, yeah.
All right. Now, here's a big one. Look, favourite memory or time for you, and it might be something that no one else even knows about. I mean, you've mentioned some great memories there, and particularly the art and things like that. But look, your time at Stream, anything for you that really sticks out that you can share with us today?
Yeah, I was trying to remember something that hadn't been mentioned, but I go back and I think you were involved, Huge, but I think it might have been 6th or 7th form, and we got those, Will and I think it was you, got those extremely arrogant t-shirts printed. Might not be a good memory for some, but you know, if I look back, we were trying to use our talent and art, and it was really about solidarity and camaraderie, trying to bring everyone, all the boys together, and we had the bear on the front and the extremely arrogant on the back, and it was more about, you know, coming together, and we got in a heap of trouble actually. And I remember being hauled over the coals by Levy and being asked who printed them, who paid for them, who got them, and we just held fast. We weren't going to say anything. But we got in a lot of trouble, and I was trying to link the two things together. I can't remember, but I thought, you know, when we all got mad balls after that, you remember we were all sitting out in 6th and 7th form, and we all had mad balls, and all got shaved, and I think it was a show of support from memory, and it was about again, yeah, solidarity and the boys sticking up for everyone and sticking together. And I've just got the best memories sitting in front of a redwood there. Everyone's got mad balls. It's sunny as, and actually Nolan Mackey's got some great photos of those times. And we used to play touch on the field, and I remember Blues yelling, "Let's play league." You know, always let's play league, and that's what I learned to tackle. And look, man, that was just good times. Yeah, I think that linked those two stories together, the t-shirts and the mad balls, as part of it. But I've always got really good memories of that 7th form PE trip that Jody O'Reilly took us on.
Oh, wow.
Tasman. I liked Jody O'Reilly, mate. He must have been pretty young when he was teaching us, but he seemed old. But you know, he was a classic.
And he brought his two Irish mates with him.
Yeah, yeah, and he let us watch the rugby on the way. Probably shouldn't say too much more than that, but it was a good trip. And the funny story about Jody Riley, I remember he came into art class in 7th form one day, and he said to Miss Wally, and I'll get to Miss Wally, and he said, I need Adon desperately, you know, really urgently to come down, and I need his help on something. I thought, oh yeah. And he got me, I went down to the PE shed, and he goes, oh yeah, I'm thinking about opening a pub, and I just want to get some concept drawings done from you on a couple of ideas I've got. And I'm like, oh, cool.
Wow.
But he was good. And Miss Wally in art class, mate, I don't know how she used to control us, but she was just so cool, so supportive, really creative, and we had the music blasting, and yeah, no, it was just good times.
Yeah, geez, great memories. The from extremely awesome to extremely arrogant tops, both short sleeve and long sleeve. Jody O'Reilly and that trip, what an awesome trip. And I caught up with him a number of years later in a bar in Auckland and Mount Eden that he did end up owning and running. which was amazing. But man, again, another one of our old boys that's got a very good memory. So well done, you.
Jesus.
All right, mate. Listen, we've come to the end. You've done a wonderful job, and you're looking really good. Have you got a message to the rest of the boys that are going to be watching this? We'll release this video in about 5 minutes. A little shout out to them.
Yeah, I still keep in touch with the boys. I think they mentioned we play an annual golf trip, with Jamie, Will, Mike, Marty, Noel, John. Kieran's coming along. A few boys have come over the years. We play for the Gus Wilbury Memorial Cup, mate. I don't know if you guys remember the Gus Wilbury story. It was an urban myth at Stream where the guy scored the winning try and died on the try line, the streamer.
No, wow.
Oh, yeah, that was a story that went around the school years and years ago. So we called it the Gus Wilbury Memorial Cup, and we continue that every year. And funny story, I don't know if you remember James Bell, when he was packing down the huge mountain of a man he was packing down at number 8 on the back of the scrum at practice, and the ball popped up, and he grabbed the ball and he had his head down. He went round the back of the scrum, just broke off it, just ran tip for leather and ran straight into the goalposts because they didn't have pads on. Just smashed his head and split his head open. It was hilarious. So that's kind of what the Gus Wilbury story was kind of based on. But
wow. And you look like the holder of that cup at the moment.
Yeah, I don't want to Skype there, huge, but I've got the green jacket and the cup sitting here, mate.
Oh, sensation. All right, my friend. Chances of you coming down for the foundation dinner end of July?
Yeah, I'm coming down, mate. Yeah, definitely. I've got a flight. John O'Connor's coming down from Tauranga, hopefully pass. I'm coming down from Auckland. But let's not make it. I don't know if you remember this story. Last story at Texarkana, we were there was an old boys dinner across the road, and we were working at Texarkana, and there's a few boarders there, and the skinheads came down, and there was a huge fight outside Texarkana, and we were only 6th or 7th form, and I remember 2 boys, it might have been me or Will, someone ran over and got the old boys and said, there's a fight, doolies are getting beaten up, and these guys came running across the road. I just remember them being man mountains, mate, and they came running across, and I just saw like 3 skinheads just get knocked out cold, and the boys were just going, doolies, doolies. Not that I'm suggesting we do that, but that's the story of an old boys dinner I remember.
Wow. Yep. I think I was boarding at that time. I think I do remember that too. Incredible. All right. Well, there you go, fellas. It's our good mate, Adon Byron, Mouth. Thanks for your time, brother, and look forward to seeing you in July.
Cheers, huge.
Thanks, man.